Y'all, I've been dreaming of going out the country since I was a child, and at the ripe age of 29, I'm finally living out my dream. My bucket list consists of Japan, Germany, France, Brazil, and nearly the whole world at this rate. Your girl is on a hunt for a second home. The US ain't cutting it no more, so I gotta see my options. Like, there's a whole world out there. Now, Houston tried to hinder this possibility because those fools delayed our flight by 4.5 hours. When we left from the airport, there was clear skies and no rain cloud in sight. Why? As soon as we're boarded, everybody, like our butts planted on the plane, there was one huge, nasty gray cloud. Yeah, the storm was coming from Hurricane Beryl. We were thinking a little rain ain't gonna hurt nobody, but thunder and lightning quickly followed after. After each lightning strike, we had to wait 15 minutes. Then 15 minutes became 4.5 hours, which made us miss our connecting flight to Barcelona. The plane crew allowed us to deplane because it was hot on that air taxi. Most people, like me, didn't want to get off because we knew it would take more time to reboard and get settled all over again. After about an hour, we decided to deplane, stretch, grab a Long Island and some AC because it was hot. United sent us text updates and the flight delay was getting worse. We've been at the airport since 11:30-ish that morning. Our flight wasn't supposed to leave until 1:50. Leaving from Houston sucks. Of course, we're planning on resorting to Plan B because we don't trust United with Plan A. We wanted to board the United flight from Houston to Frankfurt, but United wouldn't let us rebook because we had a checked bag. So they said our checked bag had to go with the original flight, which didn't make sense to us. We proceeded to ask again if they were able to hold our luggage at the airport because we live here in Houston. So if anything, we have to come back to this airport and grab our bags. We have to come back and get our bag anyway, and they said they just couldn't do it. It was too much insurance, blah, 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 all this crap. Our main plan was just getting across the water. As long as we can get across to London, we can go wherever to get close to Barcelona, and we could have made our cruise early. My first time in Newark, New Jersey airport. I don't get why East Coasters get a bad rep because they were all nice, at least the people that I've met so far. We managed to book a flight from Newark to London, which is about 8 hours overnight. The only bad thing was our flight got delayed by 40 minutes, which caused us to miss our connecting flight to Barcelona so we could be early on our cruise. Still, no complaints, trying to be helpful and wishful thinking because I want to be on my all-adult cruise. So this is my first time riding on an international flight, which was crazy because we saw first class, economy plus, and soul plane in the back. I like economy plus because I was able to stretch out, get comfortable, had a nice little pillow. There were nice food trays and feet rests, but of course mine were broken. I got a comfy amount of space to recline, and I'm not gonna lie because I took United's headphones, the Saks Fifth blanket, and the Saks Fifth pillow. That's the rat of me. Oh well, you gotta love it. I had to gain my souvenirs from my adventurous journey and all our missed connections. Like, of course I'm taking those. I will say, I was surprised by the food. The food was pretty good. The food was actually pretty good. So this is my first time eating airplane food, which it wasn't bad outside of the dry airplane snacks. And I love that they had wine on deck. As soon as you finish your glass, they brought out more. And that's my kind of service. I'm a brand new bougie bitch. I will say I didn't realize how close the Soul Plane line was, like right next Soul Plane line. I will say I didn't realize how close it was economy plus and then economy. I did feel bad for the economy passengers because the airplane, they didn't show them, they showed a distinct line between what you paid for, and they do not care. I was pretty nervous on the flight because this is my first time ever flying over a lot of water for a long period of time. Great life experience for my travels in the future. United made us miss another flight just trying to get to Barcelona. We had to cross terminals to British Airways. We ran off our plane, ran down 2 flights of stairs. I'm sure we ran a mile just to get to the stairs. And then we had to take a shuttle that took an additional 15 minutes just to get to British Airways terminals. As soon as we make it to the airport check-in, they blocked our tickets. UK do not play. They strict at TSA customs, and if you aren't scanned an hour before your departure, you aren't going to make that flight. We were blocked from going to our first flight out to Barcelona, waited an hour in line to get rerouted from London to Madrid, then Madrid to Barcelona. Now, going to London airport is a sight to see. People have no respect for luxury goods, as they had Louis, Burberry, Gucci, Cartier, any fancy store you can think of, it was there. They just got it available out, discounted in the airport, and I love the swag. I love the swagger and confidence that the travelers possess, because I was like, I need that energy. Most of the London TSA low-key shitted on us because they could tell we were Americans from our accent, and one of the TSA ticket agents or security, whatever she is, she told us we couldn't just try and negotiate our way through a flight. She's the one that told us how the system works once we check in an hour early. We had to go on that designated flight. There is no rerouting, no changing, or either on standby or not. We were just fascinated by the London airport. We almost missed our flight trying to finesse our way to Barcelona so we can make it to our cruise on time. That's all we want. We just want to go to our cruise. We set aside our pride and ran back to our gate, and we made it just in time. Of course, they had to check in our carry-on luggage once we arrived. They treated us with the utmost importance because we didn't realize we had business class. We didn't realize business class was technically first class. We thought it was just economy plus. As soon as we learned business class was first class in Madrid was nice. We got like a charcuterie prosciutto, we had some shaved meat, nice cheese, wine on deck. As soon as we finished like our last set, they immediately brought us like more refreshments, and they made sure to bring another bottle of wine, which was amazing, and some water with lemon. They were bourgeois. We had a world-class prick on the flight. He thought he was just big business because he was on this business first class flight. No one was checking for him. Like he was a big asshole. Like someone barely tapped him like this and he just lost. He said, After he got over himself, this flight was fast. We took a quick 30-minute nap. We were trying to rest as much as possible on our flight so we can be prepared for the next possible rerouted flight we had to take. Once we got off our Madrid flight, we already missed our connecting flight to Barcelona because this flight was also delayed. I just had the feeling to go check baggage claim and just double check with the TSA agent to make sure my bag got to Barcelona because it was supposed to fly straight to Barcelona. That was not the case because my partner's bag made it to the baggage area and my bag did not make it. And they put all them extra little stickers on there for what? Because it didn't make it there. We waited an additional hour to talk to Iberia customer service. Customer service reassured us that my bag is gonna make it. We missed our flight, which we knew because our flight was delayed 40 minutes to our connection. Now, we're on a great race again to get rebooked from another flight to try and make it to Barcelona. We have to get through Madrid's customs. This is our fourth customs within 30 hours. We are over customs at this rate, and we're just over the whole flight experience. I'm tired. I just want to go lay down and shower. Like, bruh, we just want to shower and lay down at least 2 hours. Just 2 hours is all I ask because that was the average of most flights. We had to wait in an additional line at the Iberia ticketing line, and we got lucky with the nicest ticketing agent. He booked us for the last flight going out, but we had to check in that evening so we can get on the earliest flight that next morning. So to try to make it make sense, we were technically on standby for the current last flight leaving the country, but we also were held on standby for the next flight that next morning leaving out of the country, or the following morning. The ticketing agent told us to rush through customs again so we can get to our flight, which we only had 15 minutes to run through customs. Luckily, we found a nice security agent that waved us to the front of the line, and we checked in and made it within 5 minutes of boarding group 1 to get on this flight from Madrid to Barcelona. Whew. We went through customs so fast, we didn't really have time to like repack our bags. We shoved everything from the trays and just held it in our hands and ran straight to our gate. I'm repacking my bag in front of the plane. Relieved that we made it to the plane within 5 minutes of group 1 boarding time, we immediately just chugged water, took a nap, and had another 2-hour flight. So the Lord was on our side because we got blessed for that one. We arrived to Barcelona past midnight. We immediately just straight booked it to baggage claim because my check carry-on was supposed to be in Barcelona before I was. That was not the case. I had to open a claim with Iberia Baggage Claim, and they now have to send my luggage from Barcelona and ship it to Texas. The lady looked slightly mad, but that's not my fault. Y'all lost my bag. And she had to ship it, but it wasn't my fault. I promise. They lost my luggage, so y'all gotta pay them fees to ship it back. My carry-on was my last thing of hope of having spare clothes, all my Europe gadgets, and my hygiene products. All the airport stores were closed, so there was no chance of me getting toiletries. All I had was a small mini stick of deodorant and gum. Alright, shot with another punch of defeat, we had to figure out how to go down and try to find some food. We thought, what better place than Spain to get some pasta? So their pasta was dry, but I was hungry, so it was forgiving. United let us down again because they gave us a glimmer of hope that our check bag supposedly arrived early in Barcelona. Then we proceeded to go down through security gate to talk to the United baggage claim, and they didn't see our bags at all. Luckily, I put an air tag in my bag so I can see where our bags were. Our luggage was playing hopscotch between the United terminals in Newark, New Jersey. Feeling beyond defeated at this rate, we've been traveling 24 plus hours. We're 7 hours ahead of our normal time, and I just want to shower at this point. But I can't, and at this point in our journey, we wanted to get a hotel, but there was no reason to because we had nothing to freshen up with. So we figured let's pull an all-nighter, walk around this airport until our flight at 7 a.m. so we can make it to Marseille, France. And we cannot miss our flight. Living in full delusion at this point. We're sleep deprived, hygiene deprived, hope deprived, and just deprived to life at this rate. We were just walking zombies. We wish we could have went from baggage claim back to our ticket terminal. Of course, we tried to check in, but the airport system was down. I want to say this is around 2 a.m. We stumbled on a quiet corner. It was 2 other people that were sleeping in that area, but it was so spaced out. So we figured, okay, let's attempt and try to nap. We were still running on pure adrenaline in fear of missing out on our flight, so we stayed up. As we're walking around the airport, my partner is living his greatest life because he is seeing all these vending machines with prosciutto, and he's prosciutto obsessed. He is so prosciutto obsessed, my dog is now prosciutto bougie obsessed. After he gets his snacks, we then proceed to people watch and see how other people live in the airport. We kept walking around and we found a coffee shop that served wine, so we sat there for a few hours and drank wine at 3 a.m. Magical! An hour later, we got access to our check-in. We talked to a ticketing agent and she tried to tell us we weren't on this list, but clearly found us on the list after we showed her the email that we're supposed to be on this flight. Whatever. We grabbed our boarding passes, we went back through customs again, and we were just left to walk around and look for more wine to cope with our feelings. We were way too close to fall asleep, so we had to stay up. We did a couple more laps. I swear to you, we did miles around this airport. We had some croissants and mimosas. We rehydrated so we can still live in our full delusion. We wanted more mimosas, but we didn't want to get drunk and miss our flight. So we were just way too close. At this point, we're an hour and 15 minutes out. We're still waiting for the airline to show us our gate. Surely they wouldn't show us our gate until 40 minutes before our flight departs. Also, Spain is wild because all of the airport stores open at 5 a.m. Luckily they did because I needed clothes since I literally had nothing except the clothes on my back. I know. Except the clothes on my back, and my backpack is full of snacks. My backpack is what I cherish most because of my snacks and my laptop. We were on the hunt for a new carry-on and wardrobe for at least 3 days until we got to the port. Trust, United is gonna get all these receipts because we've been on 5 airplanes so far and still nowhere near our destination. We were trying to get from Barcelona to get on Marseille, France. We've been from Houston to Newark, New Jersey, Jersey to London, London to Madrid, Madrid to Barcelona, Barcelona to France. As we tried to be optimistic through our delayed flights and losing our luggage. Making our final lap in Barcelona, I rushed to some clothing stores that were open. Quickly picked out a swimsuit, a dress, jeans, and a purse to hold like everything. And my partner is the dopest. He found this bag for me, which came clutch because this thing is pretty huge and it held all my newly bought clothes that we got. So yes, this purse was important because it held all my clothes. Most of the stores overseas made you purchase a bag after shopping, which made me sad because I had my reusable HEB bag in my carry-on that never left Madrid. Back to the story. Got more clothes. Now we're rushing to find our gate. We showed up 5 minutes early just for the plane to be 15 minutes late. At least we were on time though. We also had to take a shuttle to get to our plane just from the airport. This trip has been extremely eventful. From Barcelona to Marseille, it was hard to fall asleep on the first plane because I just kept hearing like a whining noise, like it sounded like a lawnmower to me. The engine was making this noise for 15 to 20 minutes. Once I figured out the noise wasn't gonna get quiet, it wasn't gonna quiet down anytime soon, I just grabbed my neck pillow, passed out, tried to soak up as much sleep as possible from the previous all-nighter. A quick hour passed by as we flew through the airs. We had to take another shuttle, leaving the airplane back to the airport, and it felt like a huge relief because we had nowhere else to rush to. I had a heavy backpack, a purse full of clothes now. Now we had to hustle and bustle to get a taxi to get to our cruise ship because we only had a open window, I think they said from 10 to 4 to get on the cruise. We barely got a taxi because our taxi driver told us it was impossible or impossible, as he kept repeating in French, to get to the port. We just thought he was over exaggerating, but as we were actually passing over the highway, like, I guess you can say, yeah, the highway was like, we were up and you can see down in the lower level that it was blocked off. You can see the port was blocked off for about 3 exits. So he had to drive us into town just so we can get dropped off by this small shopping district. Luckily, the mall was close to a taxi area. Our current taxi driver from the airport helped us to secure a second taxi from the mall area to get to our ship. I don't know if we just give off we're American, especially being black. We're just black Americans that no one really wanted to work with us. Luckily, we got a second taxi driver that already knew how to bypass all the highway traffic, and he drove us straight to our ship in 15 minutes. Like, he was a plug. Very efficient. As we were driving to the port, there was gate security for the ships, of course. We don't speak French and they barely spoke English, so it was a huge language barrier. We got lucky because our taxi driver was generous enough to wait for us for 10 to 15 minutes, and then he started to get irritated, saying he doesn't got time to wait for us all day. As I told him, I never expected him to sit and wait with us in the first place so he could gladly stop our fare because the time was still running and we weren't just sitting there for free. We were paying him for his time and tipped him that extra $5 or €5 extra on top of his fare. We would have tipped him more, but he pissed us off with that comment, so it's neither here or there. The port security expected us to print out our email, which could have been easily fabricated, but our logic was, who would really fly all the way from America to Marseille, France to sneak on this boat? After 30 agonizing, tiresome, smelly minutes waiting for 2 security guards to let us to our port gate, we had to go through a 3rd security guard again just to get to our ship, and I can literally see the boat. We can see the boat about 200 feet from us, and this guy was funny because as soon as he looked at our paper, he was like, so, you fucked up. You fucked up. And he said this in perfect English, so, you fucked up. And we couldn't help but laugh and eat the shame. We didn't fuck up because we didn't set our plane times. Everything was delayed with every airline and airport. That's why we had to board at the second port city. We were so close to our ship. We just want to get on the boat. We're pacing to get through more security. There was an additional security check before the boat, and then there was a security check on the boat. Our hostess told us we looked defeated, which we were, so she wasn't wrong. And I have to show y'all this. Little knife. So I have to show y'all this like super tiny knife. It's my little keychain knife. I don't know if y'all can see like good, but yeah, So I normally take this little knife to cut off tags or any extra pieces of like my clothing, like straggly lines, and even sometimes to screw my glasses tighter. And I've been through slippery hands. I've been through 6 airport security customs, and not one of them clocked me. But the boat did. The boat stopped me because they thought this was a bullet, which, what am I gonna do with a bullet? Like, what was I gonna do with one single bullet? Don't answer that, but still, like, what was I gonna do? I get America has a lot of shootings, but damn, let me get on this boat. So our hostess showed us to our room as she gave us like a quick rundown and everything. She started our safety video from our tablet, projected it onto the TV. I don't know how that works. And we finally just got settled into our room. So we quickly showered, grabbed some food, and we were like, grabbed some food, and we're still running off adrenaline. So we were like, we might as well soak up the city since we're checked in onto the boat. Let's have a little bit of fun since we're here now. Our adrenaline rush came and saved the day. We were refreshed at this point. We got our second win. We exit the boat after about an hour and a half of getting our lives somewhat together. The ship provided shuttles to get to Old Town Marseille. I want to say this was the museum district. We weren't there to see museums, so we were just like, oh, let's walk around and see where the town takes us. And the town took us to the ghetto, which I'm okay with. It's kind of cool seeing overseas ghetto. It did suck though, because where we first came to, we were like, oh, the ship is gonna take us straight here. It sucked because the shuttle took us to the old town, and we thought we were gonna go to like the nicer new area and roam around. In our mind, we're thinking, oh, we can take the shuttle from the ship, go to the new mall, get some more clothes, and then I'll be set for the week. Then we could walk around the city for a little bit and head back to the boat and recoup. That was our job, recuperate ourselves. The ship shuttle had other intentions. Instead of taking us to the brand new mall, they took us to the ghetto Marseille. It was fun seeing overseas ghetto, which I liked, but it was cool to see their culture. It was more cool to see their culture. I noticed French people are utterly rude for no reason. I get I'm a foreigner and I don't know the language, so excuse the French out of me for not prepping myself, even though I barely knew about this trip, which was great. It was a huge surprise for me. But also at this point in time, I'm tired. I don't even want to shop. I'm just tired. I'm not even shopping for fun, which I love to do as a sport. It's a shopping addiction, I know, whatever. I'm shopping because I need clothes. We walked through this abandoned building. Well, it looked abandoned or ran down from the outside. I only went in the building because I saw a lot of people going in. I saw a lot of people going there, so I was like, oh, this must be something. We go in the building, you have to go up these escalators. The first floor or the ground floor, you hit like a grocery shop. We hit a grocery store area. My partner's like, oh, let's grab some snacks. I was like, you can't bring it back on the boat. There's no reason to grab snacks. Like, you don't need it. And we have all the food we possibly need on the ship. We walked past the grocery store, there was like more shops, and we were like, oh, we can find everything here that we need from overseas. In America, I'm typically a medium, small medium. I'm a petite girl. Like, I'm not that big. I'm pretty tiny, so I just wear oversized clothes. I'm a petite girl with a small frame, so overseas, I'm typically a medium to large. Unless the clothes run big, then I get a small, medium, whatever. But overseas, it made me feel big. I'm not gonna lie. But overseas, it made me feel big because I had to get medium large for my clothes. And for my shoes, I had to go 2 sizes up. Generally, I'm a 7.5. And I always do a size up. That way, I can just have extra room. But I had to do a size 38 or 39 while in France for my shoe size. Every passing hour on this trip has been a huge learning experience. So we roam around the mall. We went through three stories. We didn't really find anything that we liked except a pink carry-on from their Macy's. As we walked around scouting for like our new stuff, we figured, okay, we know where this mall is. Let's go outside, explore the rest of the city. and we explored the city and saw a lot of the locals. We walked through a lot of like mom and pop shops. Sorry, my dog's here. Hi, Bubba. What are you doing? Walked through a lot of mom and pop shops, and we had to be aware of our surroundings because all the area was crowded. There was a lot of trolleys. And a lot of the streets were crowded, and you have to be aware of the trolleys coming in and out. I didn't know if they were called, I don't know if they were called trolleys, but they had a lot of trains, mopeds, and cars swiftly like driving past us, like in and out, very quick. And after we walked and seen everything we needed to see, we stopped by a black hair store, which I was excited to see. By a black hair store, of course, there was a language barrier, and my partner is adamant on finding Murray's hair grease, but he was just SOL. His hair grease was in his check bag, which of course was left in Newark. After the black hair store let us down, we made our way back to the abandoned mall. I guess you can say we found Sally's. We made our way back to the abandoned mall and found Sally's, which was terrible because they had a few black products, but nothing that we've ever used. And we tried to ask the associate for help, but they weren't even trying to talk to us. So they just ignored us as we were asking questions and pointing at things. So they chose not to speak to us. I let him deal with that. I found Foot Locker. I walked over to Foot Locker because I was looking for comfy sneakers. The only sneakers that I saw and liked were $20, but of course they were 2 sizes too small. The Foot Locker associate automatically had an attitude once he saw I was American. He rolled his eyes at me. I automatically just walked out the store. I wasn't dealing with that today. I'm too tired. I will cuss you out in full English. So we go back to get that pink carry-on and then head straight to the supermarket. We grabbed our toiletry essentials, toothpaste, lotion, deodorant, soap, and grabbed our basics. Everything we just purchased from the supermarket we threw in our carry-on. We waved down a taxi to head to the original mall we wanted to go to. At the mall, I started to get flustered because nothing was really fitting me. I was getting aggravated. Luckily, we found a G-Star, and I love G-Star. Their jeans, perfection. G-Star has great quality clothes. G-Star, you need to sponsor me because I shop there way too much. So if you're looking for a 5'3" model, which I think you are, I know you are, send me some clothes, please. I'm actually in my G-Star shorts. I don't know if y'all can see, which are super comfy and cute. And my favorite color, orange. G-Star associates were super nice and accommodating. They actually they helped pick out some clothes for me, and they said whatever I see that I like, and if I don't see my size, they'll go to the back. I comfortably secured more comfy clothes from the mall, grabbed a pair of sandals that I can wear throughout the week with anything just about, and I'm just ready to get back to the ship. I am so tired. So at this point, I'm just ready to get back to the ship because I'm tired. I got clothes for the week, feeling pretty comfortable, and I just want to go to bed. I'm so tired at this point. Adrenaline is just gone. Okay, so from an enjoyable shopping trip, we quickly dropped off our bags back to our room on the boat. We grabbed more food. So we passed out for a few hours. We woke up around midnight. Ooh. Yeah, we woke up around midnight, which is probably 6 p.m. back home. But midnight there because we were 7 hours ahead. After a well-deserved nap, of course, we grabbed more food and then we just ran around the ship, got to exploring. We tried to learn everything since we didn't get our first full day, and we woke up the next afternoon in Cannes. I think that's how you say it. I know the S is silent in French, so we woke up in Cannes, France. The city was beautiful. It was cool getting around Cannes because we had to take a mini shuttle from our boat to their dock. And once we got there, we were trying to game plan on how we were going to get around the city. I'm like, should we walk or should we taxi or should we rent scooters? Scooters won, so scooters would be our best bet to move around the city. We rented scooters for about 2 hours and we scooted our way through the city. My partner had been to Cannes about 10 years ago for being one of Porsche's top sales associates. I was in awe just watching him light up as he relived all his past memories. We had to take a tour bus but not risk being late for our shuttle, so we found a good spot to park and lock our scooters. Then we located a restaurant for lunch. I didn't care what it is about French people, but everything they did, it just seemed effortlessly chic. Don't mind me, I'm just over here fangirling, which it's okay. Side note, I already looked up how much it costs to live there. It's way cheaper than living here. So, might have found my second home. Back to the story. We tried to walk off lunch, so we figured we strolled through Louis V, trying to be bourgeois, to see if we can find some deals. We immediately learned that con was for the rich because LV was like $300 to $400 more than the usual price. So to Zara we go. Back on our scooters, we found a D Squared store. I got the coolest Betty Boop jacket. There was matching denim pants, but I loved the denim jacket. I'm such a denim girl. I wish I could show y'all the jacket. It's in the dry cleaners right now, but there were matching pants, but I like the denim jacket better. I just knew I can make way more outfits with the jacket. At this point, we already went over our time frame, so we were just trying to soak up the beach as much as possible for an extra 20 minutes, and we raced our way back to the scooter rental place. My partner got confused. He passed up the scooter place 4 times. I stood up 4 times, and I just got tired of like watching him fail, so I just returned my scooter. And the guy was like, "You lost your partner." I was like, "No, he lost me." So I'm gonna let you know my scooter's returned. Hopefully his gets returned because all this is on my credit card. We weren't ready to get back on the ship, so we figured let's go walk around the other part of the city that we haven't explored yet. Picked up some souvenirs for my family. They all were super cute. I love that overseas, all the food is fresh. You can taste the difference. No preservatives or extra sugars. It's just all natural. We still had time before docking on the ship, so we stopped at a local liquor store to drink some cheap wine. After our wine, it was time to get back on the ship. Day 4. For our day at sea, we were sailing to Mallorca. On this day, we truly slept in because we had nowhere else to be. And I'm sure we walked around the ship about 3 or 4 times, and we finally got to try Virgin's Asian market at sea. We missed it the first 2 nights. Yeah, we missed it the first 2 nights, but we finally got it on our sea day. The food was pretty tasty. My favorite part was the ramen because we kept missing the ramen and taco section during the day. I guess we just kept sleeping through it. Those sections closed at 12, I think it was 12 to 2 daily. And we got a couple of bento boxes which lasted us into the night in our mini fridge. We discovered we can order snacks from the tablet or using our phone app, and we took full advantage of it. I think that we ate over a 6-pack of gummy bears since we figured that out. We played basketball, we played chess, we indulged in the oversized jacuzzi and pool. We were exploring different bars around the ship, and I got to read my book, so I was a nerd for a little bit. We got to see some of the Euro Cup games and slowly watch the sunset. Our day at sea was super relaxing. There was like old school arcade games, so we played different video games anytime we attempted to be bored on the ship. Virgin Voyages also had a great selection of movies, so I had a bomb movie night. I was vibing by myself. We woke up in Mallorca. Mallorca looks like a fairy tale island. It was beyond gorgeous. Mallorca seems like something from Game of Thrones or Harry Potter, because when we first docked in Mallorca, we made sure to wake up early. That was our key thing, so we can explore the whole island as soon as we got off the ship. Time we docked, every city that we docked in, we had about 12 hours. So we would dock at, I think we docked at 8 a.m. and we would leave by like 7:45. So you had more than enough time to like explore the whole city, do whatever your heart desired, and had an ample amount of time for your offshore excursions. I think that's what it's called, offshore excursions. I guess you can say we had to walk through customs or more port security. There were a lot of taxi people coming up to us to show us their escort packages. One taxi driver tried to sell us on museums and caves, and we weren't feeling that. We weren't trying to do none of that. Luckily, we met this taxi driver named Victor who was English. He spoke English, Spanglish, Spanish, Majorcan, and I believe he said he spoke another language, but that was more than enough for me. Mallorca is incredible because they had a special Spanish language, Mandarin, on their island, but Spanish. Victor had told us they had spoken 4 languages on the island. Also, the royal family summers in Mallorca, so they have a huge castle out there. Victor gave us a perfect tour. We first started at this fairy tale castle where you could overlook the whole island. One thing Victor could do was drive. Man, turned down an alleyway with like 3 centimeters of space and glided down this alleyway as like people were walking on the alley walls beside us. I would have did a oopsie across the whole side of the car. We drove We drove around a huge church, and the detail on this building was impeccable. My partner was inspired, so ultimately he became a model. He hates taking pictures, and we mocked some of the figures around the church. After seeing the church, we rode to some old parts of town. We saw this 500-year-old olive tree. We got to see huge figurines that the country uses during their Independence Day celebration. Drove through more old towns, just sightseeing and breathing in their culture. My favorite thing about the buildings and structures is no matter what size your apartment, you had access to outside. Even with the older building, Mallorca prioritizes access to breathe in natural air. Their balconies also act as a heating and cooling source for their homes. We wanted to stop by another mall to see if we can find some party outfits for Ibiza. Their mall was over 6 to 7 stories tall. That mall was overwhelming. As soon as we walked in and we figured out the layout, we had to stop for coffee because I was beyond overwhelmed. There is no set store, like brick and mortar store dividing each store. So whatever brand you can think of, you just walk in, you switch brands on any floor, and whatever you can possibly need, it was there. Like, that mall was huge. You want house towels? They got it. You want a rifle? They got that too. We needed to see our way out the mall, and luckily Victor found us in the mall because we got lost. Truly, I think he thought we skipped out on him. So we didn't have to pay our taxi fare, but truly we just got lost in the stores. We had 2 hours remaining on our day taxi excursion. Victor drove us through the mountains. We saw numerous olive trees, and nothing looked real. It looked like it was a artificial assimilation or something. It was all beautiful. I was just like, I can't believe you live here, and then we get to experience this place. The area we walked around was densely packed. We stopped at a bar, which was common for us. And the bartenders out in Mallorca, they deserve the world because they gave us half a drink when we only asked for a shot. We had to beg them to stop pouring our drink. It felt like we got a fourth of the bottle without trying. After our drink, we made our way back to Victor. We're buzzing after our day drink, and we floated our way back to the boat. As we found our way back to the boat, we quickly grabbed some ice cream for a snack. So I made my way back to Mallorca so I can find some comfortable shoes. These were my flip-flops for the week. They're super thin. Ugh, they weren't cutting it. I had blisters all over my feet from the whole week. And these are the other pair of shoes I had that went with nothing that I was wearing. It was a struggle. I wore these through the airport for 2.5 days. My partner didn't tell me. He signed us up for a dance class on the ship. Whatever we scheduled ourselves, we always missed it because we always got distracted with something else on the boat. So I woke up refreshed from my cat nap, and I was just determined to find some comfortable walking shoes. I did have to keep in mind there is an export tax on everything you buy, so whatever you would get was slightly higher because of all the import taxes. The second mall was a bit confusing because it was built underground. Majority of the buildings there was like built in the side of mountains. And this is a new city for us, so we don't really know how to get around. Because our home is huge overseas, very aesthetic vibes. We walked around numerous shops, and I just wasn't getting lucky. I did find a pair of Ugg sandals that I wanted, but they were $50 more, and after that point, I just felt defeated. I was ready to go back to the boat. Our 12-hour stop came to a halt. I grabbed my book so I can read some more chapters. Shared a couple drinks to watch the sunset as we sailed away from Mallorca. As we were coming down from our high of Mallorca, we went to this restaurant called Pink Agave. It's a Mexican restaurant on the ship. The food wasn't nothing to rave about. We both agreed we'd rather have ate the free food than spend extra money at the restaurants. But the drinks were bomb. Drinks A-okay. The drinks were great because it was a great pre-game right before the Scarlet Night party. The Scarlet Night was lit. There was a huge inflatable octopus. It was the ultimate pre-party prepping for Ibiza. Majority of the people on the ship was a little bit too responsible for me. There was like really no ratchetness. Everything shut down around 2 a.m., which was okay with me because there was just so much more to do on that boat. The party shut down, so we headed straight to the casino, and we won $800. The $800 was profit because originally we pulled out 5, gambled that away, broke even, and then we kept all the profit. I just didn't want it. Personally, I didn't want to lose anything else. Day 5, which bled into day 6 because we docked at Ibiza for the night. We only heard great things about Ibiza, and I was so hyped when we got there. I know they had like the largest club in the world. It was supposed to house over 10,000 people. The place just shut down. Arrived there a little late. I think we ported around 4 p.m. We missed all the day parties, which is what I was looking forward to because Calvin Harris, Steve Aoki, and Martin Garrix were all there. It's okay because we were leaving the following day around 7 p.m. The boat provided shuttles, which came clutch because most of the shuttles saved us around, I want to say $40 to $50 per taxi. The shuttle took us down to the main part of the docks where you can see all the local bars and some shops just to experience part of the city. The first thing I had to do when I touched down was go to McDonald's. My bestie told me you can drink beer at McDonald's in Ibiza. As soon as we got off the ship, we were scoping out the area, and of course my partner spotted a liquor store. We bolted it to the liquor store. We bought a couple of mini bottles, so he was sipping on Patron throughout the day. We walked around and saw that there was a lot of day bars sitting close to the yachts. One yacht was so fancy that it had a freaking helicopter on the top. It had to be special because it had this velvet rope blocking it off and like 3 security guards. We had to sneak some pictures next to the yacht because it has to be on my vision board. Like, I got goals now. Oh goodness, I don't know what it is about Ibiza, but men love to be naked on their balconies out there. I saw probably about 5 dudes naked on their balconies during this trip. The first guy was an older man on the ship, and then one guy was like full butt naked, just doing his squat workouts. And then the following day, I saw these 3 dudes naked and chanting like some football anthem or something proudly for 10 minutes, and they was out there getting it. Back to Ibiza, day 1. After we scoped out where we wanted to go later that night, we figured we pregame at the day bars. We were looking to see where we can best get tickets to whatever club we were looking to get into that night since we already missed all the day parties. Then I had to go to Mango to find some shoes because I didn't want to wear my sandals or Crocs at the club. That wouldn't have been a cute look. Luckily, I did find a pair of silver strappy sandals that I could wear. I love me a good kitten heel. Silver heels went with my colorful dress that I had, and I had a ball. Now that we got a game plan, I got some shoes, we can finally go to McDonald's. I didn't drink a beer at McDonald's because we already had liquor, so naturally I just grabbed a cup of soda and poured up my drink. And I'm not gonna lie, because McDonald's took me by surprise, them things had real chicken meat in their chicken nuggets. Them things was bussin'. Fries were hot and fresh, lightly salted, and I got a Biscoff ice cream. Their ice cream machine actually works. My poor partner was still on the hunt for Murray's hair grease. He saw a black barber, or what we thought to be a black barber, and he truly got greased up. It was gross. He definitely didn't get what he asked for, but he was greasy. He didn't complain after that. We're still strolling through the city. We finally finished one of our drinks. We had to catch a shuttle back to the ship so we can get refreshed, showered, got a change of clothes, and party throughout the night. We got back to the dock, took pictures by that super fancy yacht, and then settled down to grab a drink. We spent about $80 and we got a pretty good deal. So we got 2 drinks, 2 club tickets, and 2 shots before we went to this club called Swag. Swag was advertised to be a black club in Ibiza. We love seeing other black people living their greatest lives, so naturally everybody just went to Swag. There was 4 lines to get into Swag. They didn't play black music, but if they did, they only played like 2 verses every 30 minutes. For the few black people that were in there, they got their lives together for the 30 seconds of a song. So we made the best of the club. We weren't vibing with it, but it was as fun as it was gonna get. So then I looked up this other club called Showgirls. I'm thinking about burlesque. That's what they were like presenting on Google reviews or whatever. And I'm thinking burlesque, and I'm obsessed with burlesque. I'm like, I get to live my burlesque life. And it wasn't burlesque at all. It was a whorehouse. That's something we were not trying to be a part of at all. And we should have known it was a problem because majority of the girls were sitting outside the door, and we didn't know they worked there until we walked out. There was only 1 stripper pole, an empty floor, the bathrooms were upstairs, and in the girls' toilet there was 1 stall. There was like 1 actual toilet, and the stall next to it, it was like an RV shower just sitting on plywood. I was ready to go. I got a taxi back to the ship. We immediately booked it back on the boat. Since the night was like, we immediately went back on the boat to play some video games, ordered some gummy bears, played chess, and did a couple laps around the ship. I'm sure we stayed up around 4 to 5 a.m. every night. We had minimal sleep and a lot of naps on this vacation. From our disappointing party night, we were back for round 2 at Ibiza. Of course, we immediately went back to McDonald's. Oh, I didn't tell y'all. The night before, my freaking partner went to the ATM while I was in Mango, and he found $90. So we mainly spent that money gambling at the casino. So technically, it was free money. So we just gambled away the $400, but we still made it, and I kept the $800 in profit. Okay, back to McDonald's. The beggars were not shy at all. They made sure to let you know they was hungry, and they gave like no personal space. They'd be like right here in front of your face. I acted like I didn't know Spanish, and this lady got pissed with me. She got super close to my face, and I just gave her this super blank stare like, girl, it's just not happening today. So once I pissed her off, she finally walked away. So we figured to burn up the rest of our time, we hike around the parts of the city that we can see high up in the mountains. Still gambling. We got some lottery tickets. We won about $10, so it was cool. We walked around some shops. We hiked up some mountains to see a huge church and an old castle, which was incredible. I just wish you guys could be there so all these images can be embedded in your mind. It's insane. And I did all this in my kitten heels. My poor dogs were barking, but they look cute. We made our way back down from the mountains, and I looked for a bar so we can just sit, catch our breath, and just cool off for a little bit. We were gonna stop by the luxury stores, but I was tired, so I was just ready to go. Day 6. Farewell to Ibiza. We made our way back on the shuttle to get on the ship. We figured it'd be smart to pre-pack, get our outfits ready for tomorrow morning since that will be our day 7 and we're gonna be flying out. We also thought it'd be smart to have like our late night snack wandering clothes for tonight because we know we're not going to bed early. It was our last night on the ship. This trip was pretty special to us because this is my partner's birthday trip and this is like my post-chemo trip. I don't know if y'all can see my port scar, but yeah. So I expected him to shop as much as possible. I expected him to shop and be like a fashionista as much as possible. I didn't fully enjoy shopping because I had to buy stuff that I needed from the airport, losing both my check bag and my carry-on. I also needed him to remember we just bought me a carry-on, so we don't have check bags. He needs to realize like we only have our backpacks and 2 carry-ons. This man brought over 7 pairs of shoes. Granted, 4 pairs were sandals, but still, why did he need that many shoes? As we pre-packed, we fit majority of his stuff in his bag. I gave up some room in my carry-on so he can pack some stuff in my bag as well. After we packed, we changed into our swimsuits. We tried to enjoy the rest of the jacuzzi and pool as much as possible, which was perfect timing because as soon as we got to the pool, we saw it was the last sunset in Ibiza. We headed back to the cafe. We grabbed our last set of the Asian night market meals. We got to see a dance show. We got to see a drag show. And oh, I forgot that we did rock karaoke the second night on the ship. Our final show was seeing a circus. It's like a circus acrobatic show. I have to say our last and final night on the cruise, the energy changed. It just shifted. Barely wanted to go to sleep, but we're super hyper because we're trying to soak up the last of our vacation before we had to go back to reality. But the energy definitely went from how can I serve you to how can I get you off this boat. Room service was no longer available from the tap of our app or the tablet. The only food that was offered was the all-day breakfast food. There was limited snacks, which hurt my heart because I'm a snack person. And I brought my own ramen, so I brought my own bowl of ramen. So I filled up my water bottle with some hot water, and I sadly ate my ramen in my room while watching a movie. Crazy to think I'm experiencing all of this while back home Hurricane Beryl is just crashing and tearing up everything. Day 7, less than 6 hours later, we woke up in Barcelona. I slowly took a shower, packed the rest of my toiletries, and put on my airport attire, which includes my water Crocs. I'm so glad that we did laundry service, I think on our C day, because if not, I would have had no extra undies or clothes to wear back on the plane. We flew from Barcelona to Germany and Germany back to Houston. I wish we could have spent the day in Barcelona, but the next time we know we either fly in 2 days early or leave 2 days later. That way we can actually experience Barcelona or whatever port city that we're going to that day. Or just have extra buffer room so we don't miss our original cruise port. And just in case there's another delay from the airlines, United. Barcelona was breathtaking, at least from what we could see from our 30-minute taxi ride. Definitely gonna go back one day. One day. At the Barcelona airport, we had to wait 2 hours since we got up extra early. We quickly got through TSA check, and I feel as though we're professionals at this point. We got it down to a science. And as soon as we got through customs, we immediately went through the airport tax duty station so we can get our money back since we don't live in Europe. After getting our taxes in order, we went straight to Starbucks. We weren't excited about it. I used to work at Starbucks and the food, it hit different at Starbucks there. The coffee was slightly better, but it still had that burnt taste, so it was nothing exciting. We just sat sadly waiting for our airplane. Germany's airport is huge. I swear, I think IAH is the size of one terminal for Germany. UK airport was strict. Germany was not playing games. They had extra security right before you can cross over to your next terminal. Security went all through our passport. They even double checked to see if they even double checked our image just to see if we claim who we are to be or whom we are to be. We didn't realize that the Euro Cup was being hosted in Germany, so we're so close. I could have watched my first Euro Cup games in Germany, and I love how friendly and comforting Germany is. I have to go back there because my dad was born and raised in Germany, and I'm just trying to get a feel for his life. Luckily, we had a 3-hour layover in between our flights, so we didn't have to rush anywhere. People that did have to rush, they definitely missed their flight. United sucked with the connection flights, especially for overseas. At minimum, you need 2 hours to get anywhere to any other flight. United knows that you need a minimum of 2 hours to get to your next connecting flight because it's gonna take you an hour just to get through TSA and customs. And a lot of people got screwed because they barely gave you 20 to 45 minutes to dream of making your connecting flight. In Germany, majority of the people had to go to gate D for the United side of the terminal. And that line was long. It was long, but it was moving quickly. And I felt so bad for the people trying to make their connections because we just experienced that less than a week ago. And I know the woes of missing your plane because I'm just all the port security. I felt all the sympathy for them. And there was this couple trying to make it back to New York. They were pissed. They were pissed they missed their flight. They could get mad all they want, but it wasn't going to solve anything or do anything better for their situation. So it was nothing they could do. And they just had to wait. At this point, we had about 2 hours before our 12-hour flight back, and we did a couple laps around the airport. My partner grabbed a hot dog, and I was in bread heaven, but I did good because I showed great restraint and didn't get any baked goods. I was looking for a German beer mug for my mom, but I didn't have any room in my backpack, so I just had to let it go. And we stopped by McDonald's, of course. We stopped by McDonald's one last time, and it did not hit the same. It didn't. It tasted like the slime nuggets from America. Like, Germany, what you doing? As everyone's getting prepped for our flight, my partner spotted a old Rockets player, which was kind of cool. His girlfriend was there, and she had all types of brands on. I'm sure I counted over 7 different brands she was wearing. Girl, we get it. He's rich. United did hand out a lot of snacks and water before we boarded, which it didn't make up for all the shit they put us through, but thank you for the gesture. And I don't know what it is about free snacks, but they always taste better. They always taste better. I learned that everyone gets main character energy while at the airport and on planes. There was nothing worse than the main character energy that this lady had who was sitting in front of us. Her plane tray didn't sit flush to the back of the seat, so we had to wait an additional 20 minutes for maintenance to come and fix her tray, for her not to even sit at this seat for 11 hours of our flight. She grew more agonizing as she came back to her seat the last hour after she saw her seatmates got comfortable in her spot because they just wanted to make more room for themselves. She came back the last hour just to get back in the seat that she originally started in, and she see this man is comfortable. Just take the middle seat, girl. She only did that so she didn't have to sit at the back of the plane before we got off, which you wasn't any closer, but we were like dead center of the plane just about. I grew aware of my main character syndrome, but I took notice of what surrounded me. And I fought within myself to go to the bathroom for 10 minutes after drinking some cheap wine. I didn't want to disturb the people sitting next to me because they were like taking their fourth nap and I didn't want to wake them up. And I didn't want to disturb the people in my row because I was sitting by the window and they were both asleep. Granted, my partner was there. I didn't care about waking him up. I just cared about waking the lady at the end up. Seeing 3 bathrooms were free, I had to take my chance. So luckily my row of people both had to use the restroom as well. So it was just perfect timing. Yay! I went back to taking my naps after reading and watching anime. I woke up from having a restless body. My love handles ached, my legs tingled, and my back grew sore. You hear my dog? Perfect timing, because that's exactly how I felt on that plane. I read, I snacked, I watched movies, I drank cheap wine, and I was ready to get off this plane. I surpassed my limits of sleep on that plane. I was really sad as we were flying back to Houston. It was just so flat. There was no historic buildings except the historic downtown in Galveston, but that doesn't count. And everything's all new construction. I would just wish there was more culture that can actually be preserved other than bad culture or entitlement in America. And I had trouble sleeping that night because we slept so much on the plane. So I quickly took 2 Tylenol PMs and with a nice glass So I quickly took 2 Tylenol PMs with a nice country club pour of red wine. Don't judge me. The next morning, I went grocery shopping. I had to pick up my dog from doggy daycare. I then cleaned the house because we left the house tidy before we left, but we didn't leave it clean. It wasn't clean. And getting back to working online. Yay me! My key takeaways from this trip. Alright, so my key takeaways is carry on is king. Try to pack as light as possible because you're going to be bringing back goodies anyways and souvenirs. And if you find cool stuff, you'll have more room in your bag to bring it back with you. I've been looking into getting a high quality backpack. I learned that is the easiest way to move comfortably throughout Europe and the airport at this rate. So I just recently bought the Osprey. This is not sponsored. Osprey, if you want to sponsor me, definitely hook up with me. But yeah, I recently bought this Osprey backpack. It's a 2-in-1. So this is the day pack. I don't know if y'all can see it easy, but yeah, it's a little day pack backpack. Just unclamp it because I didn't fully secure it like I thought I did. So this is the 15-liter day pack backpack, and I can do like a hydration pouch in here, which I thought was pretty nifty. And I'm always someone that loves to be prepared. So this pack is really cute, and I love green. This color is just for me all day, and I love how big these pockets are too. And then I got this big boy. This is the men's pack. I like the women's colors, but the only difference I learned between the men's and the women's was this backing. Like the women's pack, this part is pink. That was the only difference. I was like, I'll take this olive green all day. This complements my skin nicely. So I want to put, sorry guys, I'm still learning this bag. So I want to put this big old bag to use soon, but I was like, the inside's pretty nice. Got a couple of organization pockets. So I'm gonna test this out soon. And if it doesn't even work at the airport for me, I can always take this camping and then latch that on for my hikes. Try to learn a few words of the native tongue of whatever country you're visiting. The locals love that you're visiting and enjoy that you're trying to immerse yourself into their culture by learning their language. Lastly, pace yourself. There is a ton to do, a ton to see, and just take your time because you will not realize how many miles of staircases you will be walking. I hope you were entertained. It was a lot to experience. I finally get to live out my dream of traveling. I'm super excited because it just motivated me more to start traveling more. I'm just, oh my god, I can't believe I went to freaking 7 different countries within a week. Basically like a country every single day. And we went through, 4 different countries? We were airport hopping, so it was a lot of fun to experience. But yes, I'm definitely excited. I'm so hyped up. I feel so giddy right now. I'm excited for what the future holds because I know this is my first taste of traveling and it's just going to be so much more from here on out. Bye, lovelies!